Volleys are all about keeping it as simple as possible. And so we're gonna start with the baseline fundamentals that you must have on your volleys so that you can have less tension, you're gonna be able to have accuracy, you're gonna be able to put the volley where you wanna put it, deep, short, wide, to the other side, and you're gonna be able to do all of this by knowing what you start with the fundamentals and then going on above that and building upon that. So the first thing we're gonna start with is literally just holding your racket out there. And I want you to start really close to the net. I'm having Ian throw me some balls, but you could definitely do this with a ball machine. Just set it up to where the ball machine is going to feed you a little bit of a softer ball. You don't want a line drive ball when you're trying to work on your volleys. You wanna make sure it has a little bit of height and a little softness so that you can do this drill as well. So the biggest thing is I'm going to start really close because I don't want you to be concerned about where the ball is actually going. I only want you to focus on your tension in your wrist and your hand and your arm, because tension is one of the hardest things to get away from in volleys. And if you have really high tension every single time that you hit the ball, you end up doing like the slap and just bounce, which is fine as long as you're standing this close to the net and the ball's above the net. But the moment the ball gets down here, there's no way that you can have high tension and have the ball go over or have any softness to hit a ball short in the court as well. So this is going to give you a ton of variety just by starting with this fundamental basic. So we're going to start in continental grip. I highly suggest you start in continental, and it's because you can hit a forehand volley and a backhand volley with the same amount of grip, or the same grip. And when you move up in levels, the ball's going to be coming a lot faster. You're not going to have time to change grips. So it's really, really, really good to try to work on that now when you're working on the fundamentals of the volley. So the first thing I'm going to do is all I'm going to do is turn my body. So the one misconception that happens a lot is that you turn your racket, or you put your racket back, and then when you turn your body, your racket is all the way back here. You are not trying to swing at the ball when you're trying to hit a volley. The goal here is just, I have not moved my arm, I'm just turning my body. So you can still see that the racket edge is in line with my chest. That's really a good determining factor of where you want the racket to be. Now I am going to have a slight angle, I don't know, probably 15, 20 degrees open. I don't really want you to have your racket face super open, and I don't want it to be closed, and I don't want it to be just straight up and down. Just slightly open, soft with your hand. Now the goal is to have no tension, or out of a scale of 1 to 10, you should have probably around a 2, which is going to feel like the racket's going to fall out of your hand, but I promise you it won't. The goal is to keep your grip and to just have a soft hand, soft fingers, very, very light on the grip, and soft wrist, and just holding your racket here. I'm going to have Ian just feed the ball, and the goal is that the racket is just going to recoil in my hand, and I'm not going to do anything else. Okay? If you are forcing the racket back, that's not what we're looking for. We're really looking for the racket to recoil, and the only reason it didn't there was because I hit it off center. And if I hit it off center, you notice that my grip actually changed. That's a good sign. That means that I have a loose grip. If the grip didn't change and I hit it on the bottom of the frame, then that would be a really bad sign of me holding too much tension. So holding it here and just letting the racket recoil softly. The ball should just be barely landing over the net. Nothing going crazy here, really nice and soft. One more. So you're going to do the exact same thing on both sides depending upon what you're working on. I don't suggest you going out and working on forehand and backhand at the same time with this, but you can in different segments. Here, same thing, nice and soft. Woo! So my racket face angle was just actually a little bit open there, and I hit it a little off center. My fault. Okay, so the goal is that, again, you're not trying to maneuver your racket back, but that you're just letting the racket recoil on its own. This is really important because when you start with the guiding process, you're going to need to be able to see the recoil and then the guide. If you only have the forward movement, you're not going to be able to have the control that you're looking to when you're trying to really aim and direct your volleys.